What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben Gaming video. I do hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. We have some exciting news today about this new device that's just recently been announced. But before I get into that, I just want to say my Twitch is down in the link below. If you could follow me there, I'm streaming a lot more now and growing things there, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm still making the YouTube videos, so don't worry about that. But I am starting to do streams and things, and I hit some amazing clips on Call of Duty the other day on stream, and it was really, really fun. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So literally last night, I guess, here in the UK, we had this announcement from ASUS about the ROG Ally. Now this, I think it's Ally or Ally, I don't know how you pronounce it, but whatever. And basically this device, you can see on screen here, is going to be a direct competitor to the Steam Deck. And this device is pretty much double as powerful, or double the power of the Steam Deck would be the correct way to put it. And this seriously excites me. Now, there's only two YouTubers who've actually had their hands on with this device. Yeah, it's Dave 2D and Linus Tech Tips. Obviously, you can imagine they're two of the top tech YouTubers. So yeah, that would make absolute sense. But as you can see from this device, you've got these back buttons, much like the Steam Deck, only one on each side. But you've got this amazing dual fan design that pretty much reduces the fan noise under full load by about 15 decibels compared to the Steam Deck. It is pretty much whisper silent gaming at full power. But what's so fascinating about this is you actually have a 1080p 120 hertz display. Now, a lot of you will think, well, that's stupid. It's gonna completely, drain the battery life. You're gonna get, such a short battery life out of it. 120 hertz. It's not gonna run anything at 1080p. Well, actually, that's just not the case at all. This thing absolutely will run games at 120 hertz at 1080p. Some of the indie games, more, it is going to run at that frame rate. Obviously, you're not going to be running games like God of War at 1080p 120 FPS. No one expects that. You can still downscale things, you can still limit things to 60 FPS. It's not like you're forced to use 120 FPS. But from what they're claiming, both Linus Tech Tips in his video and Dave 2D and ASUS themselves, is that this battery life will match and in some cases exceed the Steam Deck's battery life, even at a 1080p resolution, which is very interesting. And this just shows how much further tech is actually going now, because Steam Deck's not been out for that long, but it's already so out of date compared to a device like this. There are other amazing features about this device. For example, it actually has a port at the top of it where you can actually dock it or plug in an external GPU. You have to unfortunately buy through ASUS, but they actually have these GPU external box things that you can buy with an RTX 4090 in it. And in Linus Tech Tips' video, he tests Horizon Zero Dawn at native 4K and it runs above 60 FPS, which is absolutely insane considering it's still using the onboard CPU and just using the RTX 4090 as obviously the external GPU, which is just absolutely insane. But looking at, as you can see on this video, you've got these the analog sticks, you've got the lights behind them, which looks really, really cool. I don't know what, there's the dock, by the way, you can see in the background there. But you've got these analog sticks with lights, which I just think is absolutely awesome. This device just actually feels like it's going to be one of the first ones to be PC gaming in the handheld. Like, I see the Steam Deck as still very much a console in terms of what it is, because it's, you're running most games at 30 FPS. You're not going to be running a lot at 60 FPS next gen titles. But with this, if you can run it at the full 35 watts, yes, your battery life's going to drop. You're probably only going to get an hour and a half at max 35 watt. But you can run these games at 1080p 60 or 720p 60. You can still go down to 720p. Or in some cases, you're playing a game like Dead Cells, or like the one on screen right now, or Golf with Friends, for example, like that's also on screen right now. You're going to be able to just run that 120 hertz 1080p for a decent amount of time. But as you can see, this thing just, to me, just looks absolutely awesome. My main hope here is that they do get this software right, because one of the things that does worry me about these devices in a lot of cases is the software just isn't as good. For example, the Iron Neo obviously is just running Windows, much like this device is, but the Iron Neo has its own kind of way of working, but it just doesn't seem to work too well. But from what ASUS is doing, they're using their Armory crate, which actually you get with most ASUS desktops. So yeah, we got to see what happens with that, but I'm just so excited. And to talk about pricing, I mean, as we've said, we don't know the actual spec of this device, but we just do know that it is going to be a lot more powerful, double the power of the Steam Deck. But from what Asus told Dave 2D, and he actually said this in his video, the price is going to be competitive. Now, I can see this thing being more like $600 starting, maybe with 128 gigs or something like that, and then maybe going up to 1,000. Sorry, I don't know why my camera's going all pixelated sometimes. That's really, really weird. My bad. But yeah, I can see this thing going up to $1,000. Which is still, if you look at the top spec Aya Neo, which is still less powerful than this, this is Zen 3 with what's it called? Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. It's Zen 3 and RDNA 4, I believe, or something like that, is what we rumored that this device is actually running on, or what Linus thinks it was running on. And in the end of the day, like that's very new tech to be in a handheld. So this thing, they can afford to charge more if they wanted to than Aya Neo, but this is like a global launch. This isn't something that's just being launched through Kickstarter like the Aya Neo is. This is obviously, they can't go as low as Valve, because Valve is probably already losing money on these things, but they make all their money back on game sales through Steam. But in this case, they don't have this. Asus doesn't have their own launcher in terms of on the scale of Steam. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I'm super excited about this device. I think it's going to be one of the most powerful handhelds we get in such a long time. Everybody thought because they announced it on April Fool's Day, everybody thought that this thing was like a joke and that Asus were just having a laugh and just releasing this ridiculous device as a joke just to say, look, we can beat the Steam Deck, look at this and stuff. But no, like, this is actually a real device with a 1080p 120 hertz panel, claiming the battery life is going to be as good. It's thinner, it's narrower, it's smaller, it's got a dual fan design. In every way, this is better than the Steam Deck. And as much as I love the Steam Deck, I just simply prefer this design. I just think one of my biggest complaints about the Steam Deck is the touch pads on each side take up so much room. Like, they make the device so much bigger and thicker, and it's unnecessary. Like, I never use those touch pads. I don't think there's a single game where I actually use those touch pads, and this is something that just, it's gone. It's more like Switch size, a lot more Switch size than the Steam Deck is. The Steam Deck's really a long device. This is a lot less deep as well. Apparently they spent years, according to Linus, coming up with this curved design or edge design around here to make it as comfortable in the hands as possible, even though it's a smaller device than something like the Steam Deck. It has got back bulges where you can grab onto it like a controller, but they're just not ridiculously big like the Steam Deck. So I think this thing is going to be really comfortable. I think it's going to be the best handheld we're going to get for a long time, and I am very, very excited. But that's pretty much it from me today. Again, please follow my Twitch in the link below. I'd really appreciate it. We have good fun streams there. When I get this device, I will be streaming there too with this device. So yeah, be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in future videos. Bye bye for now.